Good morning, children. Some more paragraph from the lesson. The interview by Christopher Sylvester. Children, in my last class, I told you that his means Umberto Eco's non-fictional writing had a certain playful and personal quality about it. Means he showed a particular playful giving pleasure and personal quality in his non-fictional writing. It is a marked departure from a regular academic style. Generally, in the world of education, a regular academic style is used, followed. But Umberto Eco's style was noticeably different from that regular academic style generally followed by many writers in the world of education, which is invariably depersonalized. And this regular academic style is always depersonalized. What is depersonalized? Divested of human characteristics and individuality. Means without human characteristics and individuality, and often dry and boring, because this type of style, that is a regular academic style, is always depersonalized. It is often dry, uninteresting, boring, dull, monotonous. Have you consciously adopted an informal approach, or is it something that you just came naturally to you? Have you consciously adopted an informal approach, or is it something that just came naturally to you? Now Mukund was asking me a question. He wanted to know whether Umberto Eco had willingly adopted that informal approach, or that style had just come naturally to him. What is an informal approach? An informal approach means what? Having a relaxed and friendly style. Now Mukund wanted to know whether he had adopted that informal approach, or it had just come to him naturally. Now Umberto Eco says, when I presented my first doctoral dissertation, a long essay on a particular subject, one of the professors said, when he presented his first doctoral essay on the subject of his choice, a long essay on the subject of his choice, one of the professors who went through his dissertations said, what did he say? Scholars learn a lot of a certain subject. According to that professor, scholars, men of letters, learn many things about a certain subject. Then they make a lot of false hypotheses. Then those scholars make many hypotheses. What does the word mean? Proposed explanations. Then those scholars make a lot of false, wrong explanations. Then they correct them, and after some time they correct those explanations, and at the end they put the conclusions. And at the end, those scholars put those conclusions. What is a conclusion? A judgment or decision reached by reasoning. A judgment or decision reached by judgment. Try to understand this point once again. According to that professors, scholars learn a lot of a certain subject. They'll gather much information about a particular subject. Then they think about many wrong hypotheses. They make a lot of false hypotheses, proposed explanations. Then they correct, those scholars correct those hypotheses, proposed explanations, and at the end, what do they use? They use their conclusions. What is a conclusion? A judgment or decision reached by reasoning. You, on the contrary, told the story of research, even including your trials and errors. Means what Umberto Eco did had not been done by or is not done by other persons. In his essay, Umberto Eco, according to that professor, had included trials and errors also. What are trials and errors? Trial and errors means the process of experimenting with various methods. The process of experimenting with various methods. This Umberto Eco had shown in his essay according to that professor. At the same time, he recognized I was right. At the same time, that professor thought that Umberto Eco was right in his decision and went on to publish my dissertation as a book. And then that professor got his dissertation published, which meant he appreciated it. What is the meaning of this? He got his dissertation published. It means he liked it, appreciated it. That is why he got it published. At that point, at the age of 22, I understood a scholarly book should be written by the way I had done. When Umberto Eco was 22 years old, he is telling the interviewer, at that point he understood that scholarly books should be written with the help of that way which he had adopted by telling the story of the research. In other words, he wanted every person to tell the story of his research. He wanted all authors to adopt his style. And what was his style? He told the story of his research. He liked to tell the story of his research. This is why my essays always have a narrative aspect. That is why, according to Umberto Eco, his essays have a narrative aspect, narrative storytelling aspect. And this is why probably I started writing narratives soon. And this is one of the reasons why, because of which he started writing novels so late at the age of 50. When he was 50 years old, he started writing novels, more or less. I remember that my dear friend Ronald Barthes was always frustrated that he was an essayist, not a novelist. Here, Umberto Eco is telling Mukund, his interviewer, that he remembered that his dear friend Roland Barthes, Umberto Eco had a friend named Roland Barthes, and that friend Roland Barthes was always disappointed. He always thought that he should have been a novelist, but in fact he was an essayist. He wrote essays, not novels. Who? Roland Barthes. He wanted to do creative writing. His friend Roland Barthes wanted to do some creative writing one day or another in future, either today or some other day in future, but he died before he could do so. But he lost his life before he could act on his plan. Here, children, I am talking about Roland Barthes, about whom Umberto Eco is telling. In his interview. Roland Barthes was his friend, and about him he is saying something to his interviewer. And what did he say about his friend? That he had wanted to do creative writing one day or another, but one day what happened? His friend lost his life before he could act on his plan. Thank you, children.